is achieveradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/achieveradio.
Hi, how are you, Joseph? How are you today?
I'm fine. How are you, Ann Marie?
Good, good. I've been in the garden some this morning, and
Oh, me too.
just what'd you do in the garden today?
Well, I picked some asparagus.
I can't find any. You're so lucky.
Yeah, there were 5 of them.
How many asparagus plants do you have?
Oh, well, it's the whole section by the garage, and actually sometimes, well, they're scattered throughout in this one section, you know, because they take up a lot of room. Because there's a few that there's a few that are not edible. You can tell by looking at them, they look kind of seedy on top, you know. You let
Right.
those grow, you know, so they keep seeding from year to year until you have a whole bunch. So I would say every other day or so, we have enough for a side dish, you know. So heck, I like it. I
Nummy.
love asparagus. Yeah.
Well, I used to have a bumper crop, but I don't know why it's been dwindling. So I think I'm going to have to plant some and wait a couple of years, and maybe that next couple of years it'll be good again.
Okay.
Because they say it's the second year that it's good. Well,
oh yeah,
and
well,
about gardens.
you don't eat it the first year. Whatever comes up has to be a plant, and then the year after that, then you could have your asparagus.
Today, I thought we could discuss a couple of things. One of them is reading the energy in your garden, which is very interesting because if you watch a lot of paranormal shows, they have all kinds of gadgets and all kinds of things that read the electrical energy of the land and everything.
Yeah.
But I think that tarot is very good for picking up the energy of the land. And why would you do that? Well, the reason you would do that is because sometimes you get a place where you just always feel negative. You could read on the messages, the historical messages of that land, or if sometimes you want to plant a garden, or if there's a garden that just never seems to get it right, you can discuss that. Interestingly, I did a reading on the fairy dress that I created.
Oh.
Do you know what it said? Leave me alone.
No, tell me. Really?
I was fussing over it
well, now
too much.
It's an iron. What is it? It's an iron, is it, or is it that heavy steel?
It's a black
mesh?
wrought iron dress cage that I planted with 120 succulents.
Yeah.
And I've been fussing and fussing. I'd plant some dirt and stick in a row of succulents and plant some more dirt, and I've been so happy with it. But I just sit there and look at it in my relaxing times, and I'm fussing over what plant looks like it's maybe wilting, or oh my God, this is not looking good, And so I think that
maybe it wants you just to leave it alone for a while.
I know, that's it, because they say
just leave it alone for a while and let it do
its thing. Let it fill in.
Its thing. Yeah.
Yeah, quit fussing over me, and that's exactly what the message was leave me alone. I'm fine.
We've always had a very good garden because nobody had planted anything in that section. before. It was just kind of empty. And we use mulch. I mean, we save all of our vegetable, all of our raw vegetable scraps if they're, relatively organic.
Right.
And
Right.
as far as we know, if they're organic, as far as we know, and then we throw them into a mulch barrel. And then at some point, it's one of these things that you spin. It's a
Oh,
big,
you got the high
and
class kind.
oh yeah, you turn it, and then
Yeah.
it becomes dirt. And then that ends up in the garden. Sometimes we'll dig a big trench and just throw all that in there. And that's how you keep replenishing your soil by putting in the scraps, because all that mulch does turn into dirt, because then you see the earthworms in it and stuff, and it smells like dirt. In the beginning, it's horrible because it's all rotten food. I mean, rotten scraps of raw vegetable. It has to
Right.
be. Don't put eggshells in there. Eggshells are good if you're trying to get rid of slugs, I suppose, but they also cut up your earthworms, so you don't want to throw them in. Actually,
Oh,
yeah,
wow. I didn't know
yeah,
that.
we were saving them for a while, and I decided to keep them separate in a separate bucket. And actually, we have this collection of pulverized eggshells in this bucket, but we haven't done anything with it.
They're very good for hostas and things like that, but I suppose
So
you're going to have to,
we'll put them
um,
around areas where we don't really need the earthworms quite so much, but we
or
do want them.
slugs. They will cut up
Yeah,
slugs,
yeah,
and
they will.
slugs like to eat up pastas and things.
Hmm. Now, we
Um,
planted
I,
broccoli, but the rabbits are doing a number on it, and anything I put on it gets blown off in the wind, so I have to wait until things die down outside.
oh, bunnies. I feel so
Yeah.
sad about bunnies. I have 13 cats. And
Well, should
I've
have bugs
I've
to chase
rescued
them.
all my cats, but this is like their bonanza restaurant time, or their smorgasbord, and they bring these baby rabbits. And today I went and got some kitten milk and some little droppers, because I figure at least I can do is try to keep them alive, but they'll die. But it's just something that seems the
Well, and
humane thing to
the
do.
dogs get them. They take care
Yeah.
of that, and then they chase out whoever's alive, and they come back. But
Well,
if you have your dog out in the yard often, it will chase them away pretty much, and that's
yeah.
what Bugsy does. If he sees them, he takes off after them until they leave the yard. Then he comes running right back. He got better about not leaving the yard. So he chases them out.
You
You
got to
know.
do it, because those little bunny rabbits, I love bunny rabbits, but they do make a mess of a garden. So,
Oh yes.
anyway, have you, I did want to discuss as our topic today. Um, there's a card called the significator, or the significant, that is in a reading. Um,
Yeah, I never used it, but I know that that's a card that you would pick to symbolize the person who's questioning,
you can
the
lay
subject.
you can lay the
Yeah.
card down to look at, but it doesn't always have to indicate the person
Oh, I
getting a
see.
reading.
Mm.
So there are different cards. For instance, lots of times someone will say, well, what does someone look like? Or it describes, like, what about age? Well, you would say that a
Yeah.
page represents a child or a young female.
Or someone childlike.
Childlike.
Hmm.
A knight would represent a young male
Usually a young
between
man.
18, yeah,
Yeah,
between
under
18
young
and
man
30.
under 40, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. and
Pardon me.
and and the feeling also is that there are, now remember, in readings, once you get really good at it, you can have an old man that still thinks like a knight, right?
Exactly.
Or won't grow up.
Basically, it's the personality and the physical appearance. And I noticed that mostly with court cards, those tend to be more actual people, though not all the time. But I mean, if there's going to be a person, it's usually represented by a court card, you know.
Right.
Especially if it's somebody significant or playing a significant role in the reading, then they show up. And very often, well, now hearts are usually fair-haired people, and but not necessarily fair-haired people. A lot of times, it is a gentleness that is symbolic by the cups.
The
You know,
cups.
cups and what did I say before?
Yeah,
Hearts
yeah,
and
I was going to say, I don't have
Hearts and
cups.
diamonds.
Mine.
Well, actually, hearts and diamonds. Actually, that those are cups and pentacles. And pentacles are more or less, slightly darker people, like maybe
Yeah.
brown,
Now, the
brunettes.
problem is once you start reading for keen and you're getting multinationalities, and someone
Yeah.
says, what does
So
someone
it's
look
not
like?
always, yeah.
Yeah,
There's lightness and darkness within all the races, though. I mean, not everyone's the same
right.
shade. So
That's right.
if you're describing somebody, say, if we're talking about people who are black,
Hmm.
and I get
They
a
would be
light
more
king.
pentacle.
This would be more someone who's not as dark. Somebody who's not known for. Somebody who always seems somebody who is either lighter by nature, physically, or simply by attitude. Or a certain light quality. Actually, people do kind of get that when they know certain people. Like, I know certain people that will always describe me as being very dark-haired and dark olive complexion and Italian, really
Hmm.
dark, and they always say that I'm dark and I'm tall. But actually, look at I'm not that dark. I'm not dark. I'm mixed Italian,
Are you
and
tall?
I'm not. I'm average height. I'm 5'10", and I'm not a very
You
tall
must
man.
carry yourself tall.
So, but they have this. Some people so people have these certain impressions of you, even though it's not really
Right.
interesting, because everyone that knows you will have a different concept of who you are, even your personality and even your physical appearance. I mean, people's perceptions are not all quite the same. There's a lot of things,
Right.
so
So, so
that's why it's really hard
queen,
to identify people in a lineup sometimes, because it isn't somebody, because a lot of times you see all these people lined up and they don't look a whole lot alike. It's like, well, what were they thinking when they picked these people up, following a description, you know?
right. So a queen is a woman that's 18 plus. And a king is usually a man 40 plus. And I've got mascara in my eye. So I'm having quite a problem over here.
Well,
I
actually,
may
we're both freezing up. I
I
don't
may
think it.
have you give a reading for somebody on the phone while I rescue my eyeball. Um, but I do want to say that
Eyeball. Is that why we froze up?
no,
So who is
the
who's
cups.
waiting in line?
Well, wait a minute. I want
Huh?
to go to this topic a little bit more. So the cups represent water signs in astrology.
They do. Well,
Yes,
yeah,
yes, they
Pisces,
do.
yeah,
The
and
cups
yeah.
usually represent Cancer, Scorpio, and
Mhm.
Pisces.
And some
The
card decks even note the zodiac signs. They're
Yep,
somewhere
yep.
in there in the some.
And the wands represent fire signs like Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. The swords represent air signs like Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. And the pentacles represent earth signs like Taurus, Virgo, and Cap. So that's some you may like to know if you are getting into reading. Um, and that's just all what they call the significant. I think that I'm still on. I'm not sure. I think that I just lost Joseph. which is too bad because I have mascara in my eye. And but I'm going to go into my room here, and I'm going to look at Renee and Anita. Thank you so much for calling, and I'm going to give them a reading. Anita, how are you today?
Hi, how are you, Ann Marie?
I'm doing great. How about you? What's going on?
Well, I'm doing a little bit better than I was earlier.
Okay.
I have a lot of things that have been happening in the last 10 years that I am kind of stuck with, but moving on. A lot of it has to do with health care. I'm in Michigan right now, and my parents are getting elderly, like in 1992, and I have a lot of unfinished strings attached to doctors. In the last 2 months, I just called it quits. I don't want anyone around me, and I need to go forward. I'm thinking I have to connect things from Arizona, and there's a new guy in my life named Dave, older gentleman in his 70s.
Okay.
At the energy there, he offered to help me with some medical stuff and things. I think I've lost a lot of trust with family, within myself, and with health doctors and stuff, which it's difficult for me to bring back. Can you look into that and see with the trust thing, maybe where that's coming from? The trust.
Would you like me to start, Joseph, and then Joe, want me to start?
Sure, go ahead.
So, Anita, I'm looking at trust. Just what about trust? And I'm looking at that, and what comes through says, well, one of the things it says about trust is that you've always been a passionate person, but in the past you made some pretty crappy choices. And some of those choices have affected the way that you trust yourself or trust other people that have not necessarily been that kind to you. Did you have a father that was quite, a father that may have been quite pressuring or successful by any chance? Because I'm showing you next to a man that seemed to have a lot of, and unless this is the man that we are reading on today, that seems to be very committed, very responsible, and he seems to be somebody that truly wants to be able to be helpful, but he has a bit of a controlling side. So my sense is that perhaps that's something that you have run across before, that in order to have someone be in your life, you've also had people that tried to control you. And it's one thing to have people help you free, but there's always a catch. And whether that catch is somebody that is desperately needing to have a relationship and maybe also with a bit of a controlling side, or it can be that, and I'm shown that this person is somebody that is accustomed to fixing distressed souls, women that have had problems in their life. And for whatever reason, he will drop everything to be able to take care of them. But there is a control factor in this. So if you don't trust him, perhaps it's because your gut is saying nothing good is free to the point where somebody's going to pay my way on anything unless there's a catch. What do you see, Joe? I'm going to go get the mascara
Are we still
out of
speaking to Anita? Because
We are. Go,
okay.
go, please.
Okay. Now, what I picked up is
gets
that
the whole
Anita,
thing.
Anita,
Mr. Bill.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Hi.
Well,
Yeah.
I drew the Six of Swords, and what that means is that there is a change going on, and things are going to change for the better. But what you need to do is to reduce your stress and to try not to worry too much. However, regarding matters of health, it, this type of card says that basically means that if you don't have trust, or if you have some doubts in your usual people, your usual doctor or your usual practitioner, if you have some dissatisfaction with them, this card is the one that would be telling you, well, you know what, you need to try another opinion, and at the same time look into like alternatives, and see what other treatments are available from outside, from the outside of your local area. Um, what you also need besides this, what this will also help you do is to have a change in scenery. And that's also encouraged too, because you've been very focused on this, and it's something that is, of course, on your mind because it is your health. You know, it is a concern. So basically, that card means that you need to take a break, you need to change the scenery, and while you're having a change of scenery, consult perhaps another doctor just to see what they have to say, and to also perhaps try um, see if there's any new treatments available. Okay. But that's what that card says, that if there is this feeling, then you should look into it, because that is your gut telling you something. So then besides, it can't hurt. It can't hurt to try, you know, really. That's about all we could say regarding health, is that, you know, if you have your doubts, well, then maybe you should, you know, and if that trust isn't there, it's very hard to get back, even if they are okay. I mean, it's just that if they blow your trust like that, it's very difficult. So it wouldn't hurt to take a break from these people. Look outside your local area for a little while, okay? That might help. That's what that card does say. But that's up to you, and that's your choice, you know.
And so one of the things that she was concerned about is why she's having a very tough time trusting the people
Well,
that
it
try
could
to
be
get
that she's
close to
just
her.
well, you know, it could be also too that this change of scenery, this little break might help that. You know, it could be simply the stress that's making you feel that way, and that could do a lot. That could make you feel that way. You know, it
Mm-hmm.
might not necessarily be valid how you're feeling. It's just, but it's real for you because that's how you feel. You know, and it could
And
be that you just need
what
a
I
break.
what I picked up, Joseph, was that nothing this there is a sense that somebody wants to help her out, a man. But I said, be cautious, and I like your advice, because nothing free is truly free. So
Right,
if
it's
someone
not.
is offering to pay your
Right.
way, then it is really important to be careful.
Well, you know, now since this is something that is about your body, your health, I don't recommend anyone going off to try something weird that they never heard of before, that somebody's talking about. Some guru comes up with something. You know, I look for reputation, and look at the plausibilities. You know, I mean, there's a lot of crazy ideas and crazy thoughts that really have never gone anywhere. So I would stay away from the flim flam people. I mean, especially now, I'm not going to mention names, but there are certain people that have made a living off of their philosophy, and their customers are completely missing the point, because actually the philosophy really is what you can pull. what you can pull on the public to make some money, and that's how that's basically how it works for them, because it's always something. They even tend to contradict themselves. The more books they put out, it's like, well, now we're talking about something else, So that's basically it. But I mean, so really, when I say try treatment outside a local area, I am not saying go try something weird that you never heard of before, and it has to be something that is plausible,
I think this person was talking about paying her bills.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
yeah, that doesn't even hit me right at all. That doesn't hit me. I don't
No.
think a word of it.
Because what I saw was that this person tends to gravitate towards women in distress.
Yeah,
And then
no.
through the paying of the bills, it's a generous gesture, which leads to control.
Yeah, because you're always going to feel like you're going to have to
Indebted.
send something. And I don't know. I don't know. That doesn't hit me right at all. That doesn't hit me right at all.
So she wonders why she's experiencing paranoia, or why she's experiencing doubt or lack of trust. And I would say that's because her gut is telling her don't do it.
Well, it doesn't sound right to me either. The thing is, it isn't something that I would want. The you know the true helpful person is going to probably tell you about a resource that might be available to you and something you don't know about. They try to guide you to the right places, and have you tried this? Have you tried that? But when someone says, "Oh, I'll cover it. Don't worry about it," and it's like, really? Well, that's whoa.
Sounds good, but yeah. Anyway, Anita, that's what we see, and we're sticking to it.
Stay independent. That's what my suggestion is this way, so that you can take a break and so that you can look outside your local area, and also to maybe get away from some of these people for a while so you can appreciate them better. I don't know, just take a change of scenery, really. That's what that card does say. That's what the Six of Swords is, really, right side up like that. It is, take a break from the issue so you can think about it better. A lot of times people sound good and then we don't think about it. Think about it when you're away from their energy. Get away from their energy for a little while so you could sort that out. And you will come up with a much better solution. And this way, too, you're not indebted to anybody that way either. This way you can just go, oh, bye-bye, and you can do that. But you're not going to feel like you can do that once somebody pays such a high bill for you. Try to do that yourself.
Or they may be all talk and no action, looking for some good sex.
Well, actually, that's another possibility. Yes, that does happen. It is a way to I don't know. Some people may feel it makes them more appealing if they take on some huge expense, and that's their own issue. But I wouldn't do it if that were me. I certainly wouldn't. But the cards don't even look like they're saying. What I'm seeing more is take a break and do some more, look into other things.
Yep. All right. So we're going to go to Renee. Okay. Mr. Bill, is my mic okay, Mr. Bill? Do you feel that it's okay? Can you hear me without the echo?
You sound good over here. I don't hear an echo. That's good.
Okay.
In the past, you used to have an echo sometimes.
That's because I got the Logitech camera was also, I think, trying to, but Bill says I wasn't putting my thing on right. Anyway.
Okay, so this is Renee, huh?
Renee. Hello, Renee. How are you?
Hi, Renee.
Renee.
What's your do you have anything on your mind, Renee?
Everything on my mind. I'd like to clear that.
Well, sometimes people have a question that's always on their mind, and they don't really ask.
Yeah. Well, I am working on my health. I got turned down by one chiropractor, said he couldn't help me. And he's supposed to be really good. He didn't even want to take an x-ray because I was going to come back 2 days later to get one, which he was supposed to do it that day. And I don't think we click, period. And the other lady said that she's a chiropractor. She's like retired almost. And she said certain amount for x-rays. Then when I called her back, I said, okay, I'll get x-rays. And then she said, I don't take x-rays. So, and then she told me I still had to pay that huge amount of money for no x-rays. So I didn't feel good with that. And now I'm going to somebody Friday that a friend went to and said that he's helped her. And I'm just hoping he'll be able to help me because I need a vacation.
Yeah.
Well,
from all this nonsense.
Renee, how did your vacation go? Or how did your trip go? Did you find a way to the...
Well, I found a way to get there. I called somebody that I'm friendly with, and I asked them, I know they work down there, and I said, I know you have to be down there about 8, and I kind of have to be there at the same time. So how about, can I hitch a ride with you? And they said yes, and so I lined it up. The problem was, my girl, I couldn't get there. She had the tickets, but my girlfriend got sick. She ended up in, my other girlfriend called her father to go find out what was wrong because she was at work, and she had a stroke, so she couldn't go.
Oh, well, that's terrible. That's sad.
Yeah, that was awful, and she's a very nice person, and I feel she's going to get better. She doesn't want to see anybody right now, and I don't blame her because she just wants to work and get herself in shape. But it was just a shame.
I still feel, Renee, that what you need is an orthobionomist who uses gentle posture positioning to accomplish what a chiropractor can. They take years and years and years and years of study to be an orthobionomist, but it's basically gentle repositioning. And because it's gentle, it does not need x-rays. It's all about, it's the medicine, I think, right now is finding, we went through a phase where exercise was hardcore, brutal boot camp, everything. And then I think people were finding out that gentle positioning, like they say, the body does low impact. The body does not. When we're in a grocery store, we do not stop in one position. We're always moving from one position to another. So this orthobionomy is based on that corrective positioning in a gentle way. But anyway, I know I told you that before, but it sounds like you really need to try something different.
Well, I am seeing that. I'm seeing that, she's always been someone who knows what she's doing. She's represented, Renee here is represented by the magician, that perseverance, and I do see it paying off because it shows here that you are disappointed with this whole thing, with this investment. Yeah, because it's time, it's money, and you're not getting results, and it's just a big pain. And that's reflected here by the Seven of Pentacles upside down. So, but we're talking about somebody new you're going to try, and I see him represented as the King of Cups, which is a very good sign. Yeah, it's a very good sign, especially if this is a new doctor you're trying and a new therapist or whoever this new guy is that you mentioned you're trying on Friday. Is that it? He may be
he's going to look at me.
Because, he's coming up soon. I think you're going to like him. This guy is... he's, of course, we were talking about physical appearances before. We could say he's over 40. Mature.
Oh, so he's a king.
He's a king.
Not a knight. He's a king.
Right. He's no kid. You're not going to get Doogie Howser probably.
Oh my God.
This is somebody who knows what they're doing. They're balanced and they have respect by others around them. And it sounds like they really know what they're doing. And this is someone who is a very sensible person who gives good advice. It might be just what you need, but I do see that this guy is an improvement on the other ones. Okay, so I do see that. Keep optimistic, because it looks like you're getting there. It looks like you're getting there. It looks like you're on the right road to it too. Yeah, because if he's coming up next, you got an appointment with him. That's the key.
My girlfriend is going Friday, and she said, and I called him to see if I could just come with her, and he said, just come with her. You don't have to make an appointment.
I like that already. Actually, yeah, that sounds positive. I like that.
He feels very flexible, and that's the way I am. So I don't like when somebody's rigid. Right.
No, that's a good sign. That's a good sign. When someone could say to you, "Oh, just come on in." That's.
And I liked him over the phone. And the first chiropractor I went to, I didn't like him over the phone. It was like, oh, I'm not reading right. And then I met him and said, oh, my God, I was right.
Well, you didn't like the energy you were picking up even over the phone, so that's pretty telling. It's like, gee, I don't even want to meet this person. That's not a good sign. If they can't even sell themselves over the phone, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, I would say.
But I'd say this.
Well, thank you, Renee. We wish you well on this, and I hope that it works out.
Well, what do you get, Ann Marie? You can pick up something else. It's okay. Because I am going to call about the other thing when I find out.
Yeah.
Well, if I look at where is your healing process going within the next 3 weeks, and what I have says, I guess I would say at the end of 3 weeks, I'm shown that you find somebody that is a lot more free-spirited, a little more, it's almost like a joyful personality that is contagious for you because you're looking for somebody more flexible. But it's not seen until another 3 weeks. And my feeling is that for now, you have to put it in sometimes there are certain things in our life that we just cannot control. And we just have to stretch our hands out at nighttime or whatever it is and put it in the hands of your angels. And I always say, thy will be done. Because if it's supposed to happen, your angels will take care of it for you. Your guides, the energies that be will be able to help you in the situation. But I think sometimes when you try so hard to fix things yourself, you kind of find those situations where you settle for less. And you've had a whole lot of settle for less. So I'm just going to say, really,
no sound
of your energy.
Yeah, there you go.
No sound into.
We lost sound. We lost. Everything froze for just a moment or two.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. So what I'm saying is, for now, just put it in the hands of your angels. Do what people do when they manifest, and the more you try, the more it's going to feel like you're button heads with everybody. So I just think this is going to happen. I see it more in 3 weeks, but just trust that it's going to happen for you. I'm not saying sit there sitting like a log and don't do something, but I'm saying, if it's the right one will come. But you're settling for a lot of people that are not giving you any satisfaction, trying to be desperate. So that's what I see.
I think she's getting there. I think that this new guy is going to be an improvement. I think she's going to like this a lot better.
Oh, I think so too.
Yeah.
I think, but it said free-spirited and someone that has a lot of joy,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
she will be able to connect with immediately. Okay?
Yes, somebody who has a good touch, yeah, and a good sense of what's going on. Mhm.
Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
we
think
have a lot
so.
of we
Thank you,
have a lot.
Renee. We
Okay,
appreciate it.
thank you. Blessings to you. Have a
Bye-bye.
great weekend. Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Renee.
We have a
All
lot of
right, I'd
high
like,
winds, so we have like a lot of high winds out here. I don't know what's going on out in Iowa, but that's why we keep
I don't
freezing
know.
and yeah.
It's just crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I want to kind of review, because you know how the YouTubes kind of don't give the beginning of our stuff and kind of jump to the ending. And for that reason, I want to review quickly what is a significant. A significant is someone in your tarot reading, if you
Right.
read cards, that can represent either yourself. There are certain appearances and looks relevant to a significant. In the review that we spoke on, is that a page represents a child or young female, a knight, young male, 18 or 30s, queen, a woman, 18 plus, or a king, mature male. What does the cups look like, Joseph?
Well, now the cups are usually fair-haired people, fair-skinned, lighter. Cups are usually sweeter people, people who are a little more spiritual, a little more. There's strong people, but they tend to have a better bedside manner than most other people. They're usually your allies. The people who are the cups, because they have the cups full of good things. Now, there's also the major arcana. We have some people represented by some of those as well, and that could vary. You know, that
Yes.
can vary really. You know, the cards like Judgment can represent a person in authority, or it could simply be about
Figure.
justice. Yeah, it could be about it could be about somebody in it. So it's very interesting.
More a personality quality.
Right. The
But wands,
personality, yes.
what would you say
Wands wands tend
would
to be they tend to symbolize work in general, something that is practical. And usually the people are somewhat they're usually brown-haired or brown-eyed. Not they're not as light as the fair as the people in the cups, but these are more of your worker bee type of a person. You know, somebody who is friendly, but perhaps blue collar. You
in
know,
appearance it says wands represent red hair, ruddy
yes,
complexion, blue or green eyes.
right.
And a sword, what would you say a sword looks like?
Swords
Or
are
what are
usually they're dark, and if they're right side up, they're one of those tough allies that you might have. Um, if it's a knight of swords, it's somebody who just like comes right in there and saves you at the last minute, or comes in like a storm. They make this entrance and they take care of everything, but they're usually depicted as being dark. Dark hair, dark eyes, dark complexion. They're usually not as warm and friendly, but that doesn't mean that they are not good. It all depends on the placement of the card. Like all of them, if they're flipped upside down, it could mean this person's skills are. It's the darker side of their personality when it's upside down. You know.
and they
Yeah, we lost. You're frozen again.
I've looked into several times. So we're kind of cutting in and out here.
Of course, you can't tell when I freeze, but most people can't.
The pentacles tend to be if you're going to have someone with dark skin, dark hair, brown eyes, a lot of times people to be more mature. I think they're more established. They seem to be materially settled or very good with business because they're pentacles.
Yes. But like say, for instance, like say your King of Pentacles, I guess he would be someone who's who has authority, successful in money matters, like you said. Especially if they're the king, they're doing very well. They know their stuff. They know they're not the mavericks. They're not people that run off half-cocked. They're the ones that they're more literary.
They know their stuff.
They know their stuff. They do their research. They might be playing the market, but they know it. They know all that. They know all that stuff. They might be someone in accounting and banking, or just someone who's very good with making it work, because they know it. They have an education and they have the experience. He's usually the king is usually an older man, and he's usually somebody who's very fair, but also a little bit hot-tempered sometimes. But
a lot of that would depend on the cards around him, though, right?
Yes, it does.
The cards around the significance.
Right. This is a person who can get that way. If there's a situation, you'll see how they get when they get mad, and you'll think, ooh. But they have a way of handling it. Like they might be someone who would tendency to say, tell off a person just by talking to them, not by raising their voice. They'll say, they will express their unhappiness, but they probably won't scream at you. They'll say, I don't like how you've been. And they'll just tell you right there. They'll tell you right off, and actually you'll feel like you've been yelled at, but actually you've been reprimanded just normal speaking voice. So
speaking of businessmen, I would like to do one political reading on pulling out of the Iranian deal.
Oh, so what's your question going to be?
Well, Trump says America has now pulled out of the Iranian deal. And so the question is, what will be the outcome? Well, what can we expect as a result of pulling out of the Iranian deal? Today I was watching, and there were people burning American flags from other countries. They're so angry, and what do you have? Do you have anything?
Well, I drew the Eight of Pentacles, and basically what that means is that this is the beginning of a lot of hard
work. I drew the
work.
Nine of Pentacles.
Yeah, I got the 8, and this means that it's something that it's going to take a long time to work out. It's going to take a long time to get all these points that we need. We have a lot, and I do see that the Eight of Pentacles could signify that we might be working with. We may have to work with another entity to make it work, make this to smooth out everything that we need to work with. We can't do it by ourselves, and we're going to need more support in this decision. We're going to need somebody's going to. I do see that it's going to be a time when we're going to have to really work very hard at this. But again, we're being encouraged to also seek partnership.
Mm-hmm.
in this. We are encouraged to seek this because um, it doesn't. It's not a good. I'm not seeing that's a good thing to be a lone star here. Um, we can't alienate ourselves. I'm seeing a caution against alienating ourselves. But that's what that card would say. It would be that it's a time when we have to truly work at this. That's not going to happen. It's not going to heal by itself. This is something that we have to try to work on to repair. What do you get?
The end of Kumbaya.
Yeah.
I got the 9 of Pentacles. Please understand that we are not reading as Democrats, as Republicans. No. As far as I'm concerned, I'm non-denominational. I'm beginning to be non-party.
I'm just telling you what the card means in general.
Yes.
Yes. I'm not taking any sides. I'm saying that this card means that there's going to be a lot of work involved with this. It's not going to be an easy thing. It's not going to be easy.
So what I'm seeing is that it seems as if this whole situation was done simply because of the money that is given. Like last time while Trump was in office.
Oh, yeah, it's money. Yeah.
Yeah, they were given a large amount of money.
Did this fall upside down or right side up? Do you pay attention to that when you do?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I want to say the right side up on the beginning was the Queen of Wands, which says to me that when the Iranian deal was made, it was made almost as a unity for America to look on board with. It was almost a way to gain fellowship, like through up with other countries. But Trump has no patience for that. And what he saw was the large amount of money that they got after a few years, which he saw as the principal reason why he did this. He didn't want them to get that large chunk of money after so many years that they almost saved up like a bank. Consequently, it says that for him, he's doing this in the light of, I'm shown the Knight of Wands, which indicates that he's doing it for his own kumbaya moment. Mm-hmm. But his kumbaya moment is, I'm the doer, I'm the savior. I'm going to do this to stop the money from going to people that we said we're trying to stop, but may very well be giving more money to do what they need to do for making nuclear weapons. However, the spiritual kumbaya of the moment of that Obama had gathered for all of this is done. And it seems as if the reading is specifically saying there is no doubt about it, as much as those of us who hate or like Trump, that he is definitely making a niche for himself as a world leader. And hate him or love him, there is a sense that he's making a mark. And my feeling is the nuclear deal is right in the same moment that the North Korean guy is going to send back people, and it's all this one little chunk of time is definitely going to be a niche on the pole for him during.
Well, now, wouldn't the Nine of Pentacles signify success?
Yes.
But success that must be shared. It's like yes, you're going to have success and abundance. However, you have to be sure to put back and to share. not to be greedy. Now,
Exactly.
if that was upside down, that point is even more definite, because that
I,
it actually, if this does not this does not show to benefit most people here on the ground, they're not gonna. It's not going to be. No one's going to be happy, you know.
yeah,
So, but
and
I do
because
see
so what I have says, and I just did something. What is the common denominator of all this? And
money,
the
money,
friend,
money.
money, 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 but also we don't need friends anymore. We don't
Yeah,
need the rest of the world anymore. Therefore, it says the common denominator of this is who is the real victim here? Is
yeah,
the victim the people that feel betrayed because the nuclear deal was just thrown away, or
yeah.
is the victim ourselves because we think we don't, or Trump feels we don't need anyone but ourselves? So as you said, we need people, but
Yeah.
we're at this time, the whole mentality is money. We don't need anybody but ourselves. So I guess we got to go. All right.
Yes.
Bye.
Okay. Peace. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Huh.
Bye.